Bell from Clarington, Ohio, and I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate sushi for wieners.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central show. We talk about all the most important stuff that's been happening over the last week or 2 weeks. And if it's got ongoing legs in a live fire news cycle, we're just talking about, and that's the bottom line. The show originates from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
If you're just tuning in, don't worry. You can get the first hour in podcast tomorrow and the second hour on Thursday. We'll tell you about Friday here in a second. Still to come on this show this evening, Mike McLeod from the World Food Championships stops by in about 12 minutes from now. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show. You can also watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, which is this: will you be watching the Jess Pryles TV show Hardcore Carnivore on September 23rd and then 10 weeks thereafter? And 82% of you are saying, indeed, you will be. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, episode 350, bringing you back to September 6th of 2011. And in this week's show, John continues his recycling of old barbecue roundtable shows. Friday, you will hear a backyard chicken roundtable that features guys by the name of Jeremy Schleishman, Chad Ward, and Shane Draper. Maybe you've heard of one of the three of those. There's probably a slimmer chance that you've heard of 2/3 of those. And there is probably a minimal chance that anybody has heard or remembers the name Jeremy Schleishman. But I can assure you, back in 2011, a name you probably knew. No offense to Jeremy. Hopefully you're still alive and around. I don't know what you're up to. But if you're hearing this, give me an email. Give me a shout. What's up? The most iconic part of this particular show is when I go around. If you're not familiar with the old barbecue roundtable shows, there was always like the prep. And before we got even into the cooking part, I'd ask all the folks, what are you cooking on? Things like this before you get into prepping the meat and getting into the cooking portion of it. So I went around this panel and I asked everybody what they were cooking on. And on September 6th of 2011, Chad Ward, who is now highly, highly associated with Traeger, and for good reason, was not in September 6th in 2011. Indeed, he was aligned at that point with former show sponsor of the show, Green Mountain Grills. And to further clarify what a Green Mountain Grills was, he said, it's like a Traeger, only it cooks better than that. That's what he said in 2011. Funny to hear how things change and play out over the years. By the way, shout out Chad Ward. What's good, son? It's time for you to make an appointment with the Barbecue Central show so we can do a little catching up with each other and talk about live fire nonsense. So if you are on the hunt for some good chicken techniques for the backyard and you really want to put them to the test and see if that a 14-year-old tip, trick, and technique is still up to snuff, then this is the show that you're going to want to hear with three guys who, at the time, really top of their backyard chicken games. This will show you This is a show you're going to want to check out on Friday. So don't forget, you can subscribe to the show's podcast feed by going to thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. And don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or a segment that you think's been lost in the now deep archives of the show, you can email John, let him know what you would like to hear. And that email address is John, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com, and he'll do his best to meet your expectations. I would ask you, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I know the answer to that. You haven't.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I mean, thank God you know somebody like me that can keep you guys right at the height of what is new, what's coming out, all this fun stuff. Let me blow this up a little bit. Make sure I'm not giving anybody away at the same time. Yeah, that looks about right. This isn't even breaking news. And maybe this never even makes it to market, but it's made it to a point where there is a picture of it somewhere. This forwarded to me by, of course, a No Names Please.
Get that big stuff out of here.
If it never happens, you won't remember it. If it shows up in the next 12 months, 16 months, you remember where you saw it and heard it from first. Ninja wood-fired, hybrid power, electric, and propane, and what appears to be a full-size-ish grill, controlled propane heat, electric power, turbo air, 100% natural smoky flavor. Again, I don't know where I got this. I don't even know if this is real. But if it actually comes to market, I'm looking at it and there is a lot of similarities to the shape, to the design that we have already seen in some other full electric grills at this stage of the game. But just in case you wanted to be that guy that said, oh, I knew about that way, way before any of that actually happened, especially if it takes off and is mega popular, then that's what you're going to want to remember. Today's date, September 10th, 2024, that I showed you the Ninja propane and electric. The consistency of propane with the superpower of hot air. Ninja's really into that. Are they cornering the live fire market? Is that a question for the embedded correspondents by the time we get to the end of the month? Who knows? I'm not sure if we got time at the end of the show to mention this, but I want to believe, or I want to make sure that I mention a few things here. Number one, we are still running the Barbecue Central Show's We'll Do It Live 2024 shirt promo. You have to get in touch with me and tell me you want the shirt and tell me what size. I don't remember if I have the... Here we go. Hopefully I kept the price. Here we go. If you want the shirt, pricing as follows, and I got to have your orders by the end of the month, and you got to pay me first, or you're shit out of luck, because I'm not floating a boat. Normal sizes, which are small through extra large, is a $35 shirt. If you want to go to 2XL, it's $37. 3XL is $39. 4XL is $41. And 5XL is $43. By the way, if you're ordering 5XL, we should probably have a different talk. But I'll take your $43 if you want 5XL. And again, it's orders now through the end of September. I have gotten a number of emails, from more than I thought, to be honest. I've got a number of emails from folks that are interested. Some of you have sent paper checks, which are fine. We'll also do Venmo, but it's one or the other. There's not a lot of options here because I didn't want to do it in the first place. But if you want to have a shirt and you've seen it for the last number of weeks, and if you're just tuning in for the first time, take my word for it. It's really cool. Again, $35 and then $2 price increases when you go to 2, 3, 4, and 5XL. So 37, 39, 41, and 43. All orders need to be in by the end of the month, or you're shit out of luck and you'll have to wait until next year. And that's assuming that I even want to do a shirt promo next year, and I probably don't. Also, September 21st, so coming up 2 weeks from Saturday, the Hartsville Hardware's Grill Fest 10th anniversary, where you will find the likes of a Mike Lang doing Weber demos, Matt Frampton doing pizza demos, Captain Ron during Big Green Egg demos, and the star herself, Danielle Bennett, BBQ, doing Traeger demos. And I'm emceeing the whole damn day. So you can come down about an hour south and east of downtown Cleveland in Hartville, Ohio. The hardware store there is blow your mind crazy cool. There are literal full-blown houses inside the hardware store. That's how big it is. It's the biggest. Really big. Mike McLeod is ready to go. Before we get to him, we will talk to you about the Franklin Barbecue Pit. You see, what you have with a Franklin Pit is a deeply thought out and refined version of the old propane-style cookers that Aaron built for Franklin Barbecue. Stylistically, it reflects the kind of bare-bones, industrial, handmade aesthetic that he loves, as in the patina and the way the welds allow you to see the craftsmanship. The Franklin Pit is primarily made of quarter-inch American-made steel. That's strong. Anything that sees heat, engineered to be incredibly solid, should last at least a century or more if cared for properly. The thickness of that steel guarantees professional-grade heat retention, which is a critical component in making great barbecue. Every Franklin Pit, unique unto itself to include their own natural markings and its own badge number. If you, the listener of the show, want to own a Franklin Barbecue Pit, but you don't live in a part of the country that has a certified Franklin dealer nearby, you can go to franklinbbqpits.com and purchase a Franklin Pit right there on the website. Franklin Pits can also be found in barbecue specialty stores in select regions of the country. If you're a listener of this show and you happen to own such a store and you would like to become a certified Franklin Barbecue Pit dealer, and why wouldn't you? You can go to that same website and fill out the dealer form, franklinbbqpits.com. Either way, sell Franklin, buy Franklin. You're going to be happy that you're either selling them or you're buying them. It's very simple. Mike McLeod's next. Stick around.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back to this portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Available in 3 sizes. Doesn't matter if you're just a beginner or a professional. You want to add this cooker to the arsenal, period. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com. Tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you, and when you get it to your home, the first thing you should do is make rack of lamb. It's so delicious on the Pit Barrel. Oh. My guest in the second hour, someone who has been associated with this show, you can believe it, since May 11th, 2010. First appearing as the CEO and president of MMA Creative, and now you know him as the creator of the World Food Championships. We welcome back our friend and my pal, Mike McLeod. Can you believe it's been that long, Mike?
I was just writing it down. I'm impressed that you have that record. And no, I didn't. I cannot believe it's been that long.
Yes, we're going on. Well, we've just passed 15 years of doing fairly regular barbecue and food segments and talking about industry and business and all that stuff. So, I do make specific marks for the people that make impressions on me. I always love to figure out, especially when they're ongoing and having such a nice long-standing time with the show. When did it first come about? What were those first conversations like? And how do I do that? I go to Gmail and I put in your name, and then I start going, like, it was like one of many. It wasn't like one of 7 or one of 10. It was one of many. So scroll back through the pages, and there it was, putting that together for the very first time on a Tuesday night. So before we get going here, Mike, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests here. And it's simply this.
First of all, can you hear me okay? Because I've sounded a little different than normal. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, you sound 100% great.
Okay, very good.
Will you be watching the Jess Pryles Hardcore Carnivore TV show starting September 23rd?
50-50.
It's yes or no on
I would
the show,
love
Mike.
to, but more than likely, I will be prepping for the World Championship Chili contest that we're doing in Myrtle Beach. But if I can catch it in rewind or a podcast or on YouTube or whatever, I'll check it later.
All right, I'll make the decision.
How about semi-yes? Semi-yes.
It's a no. If it's not yes, it's no. 82% of the voting public say they will start watching that show that is evidently going to be on a 10-week run, and she's in the middle of shooting season 2 before season 1 has even hit the air. So at least the folks that matter seem to like it a lot, enough to try to right back out there. So we'll talk about World Food Championships here in a few moments, but I wanted to start with whatever kind of look back at this season's Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series. And I know you're a very process-oriented guy, and maybe it's too early to get a deep look at what the season ends up looking like, but from what you know at this stage, how do you evaluate the success of the series in 2024?
I think it was a huge success. We proved model. We had done a lot of tweaks in season 1 and applied some of our best practices for season 2, and found a good cadence throughout the 13 events that we went to, and everything seemed to work very smoothly. As you know, we were constantly focusing on the operational side of things to hopefully allow people to have a great time, even though we might be having a few rough edges behind the scenes. We want the teams to feel honored. We want them to be celebrated. We want the customers of Famous Dave's to really feel like it was a special event, no matter what the location was. And year 2 was really just about perfecting the overall process and making sure that if we want to take it larger, go bigger, if Famous Dave's wants to take it larger, go bigger, that we're ready to do that. So very happy. Teams, we had probably about 50% new teams participating this year, which is great. You know, we get to introduce them to our way of running a barbecue contest. Not that it's the perfect way, but we like it. And we like the silver platter strategy, where we can turn the teams loose on creativity and think outside the box. And invariably, once teams get a taste of that and understand it, and then execute on their strategy, they usually prefer that method. They like going down the silver platter strategy instead of keeping it in a box. Now, for those people who perfect and use a scientific process, you know, the box works really, really well because you've done it for so many times and so many events, and you know, it limits the number of things you have to think about. So I get that. But for those who are trying to control the taste profile, instead of guessing at what a judge likes, whether you're in the Southeast, Northwest, Southwest, etc., you know, I've heard a lot of teams over the years talk about always trying to find what's the taste profile in this region and what should I cook to, and they're trying to guess in the minds of a judge. In our process, you don't have to do that, because you literally get an opportunity to tell the judges, this is what I've made for you. You tell me if I executed it well. And it might involve raspberry chipotle marmalade. Who knows? It might be peanut butter and jelly ribs. I'm serious. I mean, we've seen everything. And for the judges, it's a treat because they get different taste profiles. And for the teams, they get judged against what they believe was their title, their description. So long-winded way of saying We introduced a lot of people to that new process. It seemed to go pretty well, and we're excited to see those teams perform at World Food Championships in November.
What's the most popular part of the Famous Dave's series for the audience that comes in?
Other than Famous Dave showing up, which would be number one.
Does he show up at every location?
No, he
okay.
he physically can't get to all of them.
Yeah.
We have a couple that are on top of each other, and it's back to back to back for a while. So, but he tries to make. He usually goes about 6 or 7 contests, and he's wildly popular when he gets there. I think 2 things. One, each one of the franchisees do a phenomenal job of feeding the public. Unbeknownst to many, it's an opportunity for the franchisees to offer up free food. And sometimes it's cornbread muffins, and sometimes it's ribs, and sometimes it's pulled pork, sometimes it's sliders. It's up to the franchisee. But they really put on a mini block party, and consumers love that. And then number 2 is consumers, after they're full on that food, they get to participate in a chicken wing contest that we do just for people's choice. The barbecue teams, where permitted by health departments. Some health departments out there still don't allow this to happen. I won't say where, but initials like California. But where it's possible to do a chicken wing contest and feed the public, they love that. And then the third thing is, adding a third thing, when you see the turn-ins, the people who get to see the process, we made it all very public this year. Put the judges inside, opened it up. Any consumer who's in the building gets to see these wonderful boxes of barbecue come through, and then the silver platters be presented by the 6 or 7 or 8 teams that are participating. And it is a showstopper. People just love to see those big barbecue guys walking in with a platter of food, and they go ooh and ah for about 20 minutes, and they beg for the grazing table access. So it's a lot of fun.
Does the crowd stay around while people are being chosen as grand champion, reserve, and all that stuff, or does it kind of ebb and flow?
It ebbs and flows. Some people come right at 1 o'clock when some of it starts to happen. Some people come at 11 when we do some public sampling. Some people come at 2 or 3 in the afternoon when the chicken wing contest is going on. So the later they come, the longer they stay. But people who queue up at 11 o'clock for free sampling may not be there when the awards occur.
What's the most popular part of the series for the contestants?
I think it's the wild card. I think it's giving them a lot to think about. It's giving them an opportunity to really be creative and to spread their wings. No pun intended on chicken wings, but they really have a chance to execute something that's outside of the box, and then they get immediate feedback. They come in, they present it to the 5 judges. They can tell the judges what to look for, and then they hang there for a couple of minutes. I usually do a Q&A to see if the judges have any questions about any particular part of the dish, and the teams learn from it. And then, as much as we can behind the scenes, after it's over with, those who are hanging around, we talk to them about their scores and share some of the commentary from the judges. So they love getting that feedback.
How much are the individual locations that are hosting these events winning from a business perspective?
That's a great question. Most of them are setting week over week or year over year records that weekend. So it's turned out to be an actual good business strategy on top of a great PR strategy, on top of a great alignment strategy with the roots of barbecue, right? Giving back to the new barbecue teams who are competing for the first time or in the industry now and trying to make it big. Famous Dave is really big about that. Dave Anderson is. He competed a lot when he first started, and you'll see all of his awards and accolades when you walk into any particular franchise. And he just believes that being close to to competition barbecue and encouraging it, and awarding $5,000 for each contest along the way. And we limit the teams. I don't know if you recall that, but we generally have about 6 teams. And in some locations we can do 7 or 8, and occasionally a team falls out and there might be just 5 teams. But when you're one of 6 teams trying to win a portion of $5,000, the odds are good. So I think that's a good thing for the contestants as well.
Doesn't suck that if you do GC or RGC, you get a golden ticket up to World Food Championships as well.
Correct, and I think that's been a big part of the victory strategy for these teams. We are really seeing teams. The last one I was at was, I think, in El Paso, and I saw grown men cry, once they realized that they got a golden ticket. I love that. That's one of those things that just always tugs at the heartstrings, and it shows you how much passion is in this industry. It's been there from day one in 2007 or 8 when I started with KCBS, all the way up till now.
I know this is a loaded question, but maybe just
it wouldn't be the Barbecue Central Radio
that's right.
podcast if we weren't loaded.
Just from your side of things, let's not even bring Famous Dave into it yet, but where would you personally like to see this series go in the next couple of years?
I would love to see it turn into first of all, probably 80% of the franchises. I would love to see all 200, 300 franchises throw a contest. And then if it got that big, we would have to stratify it. We'd have to pretty much go back to the playbook we used for Sam's Club, where we had locals that you had to win to qualify into a regional, and then regionals would do the national. So we'd turn it into a bracketology strategy.
Do you believe that, almost said Sam's Club, do you believe that Famous Dave would like to share that vision with you?
I do. I think it just becomes a major conversation point internally for their marketing team and their operational marketing budgets, and then they have to also sell it to the franchisees, right? They can't force a franchisee to do this. They ask who wants to participate, and we did have some new locations this year. So the more that we can show that these contests are generating revenue, and the more that we can show that it's not infringing upon the operations of the store owners and their crews, the more that's going to happen.
I hate to say this, but I believe at this stage of the game and with my audience at this point, we casually reference Sam's Club because we remember how great it was, but I doubt that half my audience even knows what Sam's Club was and how great it was. But I think that's just kind of the state of where competition barbecue has gone over the last handful of years. All right, so that kind of ties a bow on 2024 Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series. So I'll be looking forward to hoping that it comes back next year, even bigger, of course. But that transitions us into something that's coming up. 2 months from now, we're going to be neck deep into World Food Championships 2024 in Indianapolis, Indiana. We talked about it the last time you were on in April, which was why go from Dallas, which is tropical most of the time, to Indianapolis, which at that time of the year, dicey from a temperature standpoint. But then we learned that majority of the stuff is going to be inside, so we eliminate a lot of stuff there. And plus, Indy very connected through the downtown area. So usually once you can make it inside somewhere, it's rare that you have to work your way back outside to get to somewhere else. So what are the latest updates of World Food Championships and things we can be looking forward to in Indy?
Well, the game plan has come together very well. First of all, we have a lot of partners in Indy that are invested in the success of this event. They like to talk about crowning champions in the city of Indianapolis, so they've really embraced our concept of food sport and the largest multi-genre food sport event that exists. So we're getting fantastic help from companies that will be great exhibitors, great sampling companies, and then also engaged sponsors that are going to be a part of the tournament. So some of the highlights include not only the 12 categories that we'll be running over the course of 4 days, but a much more forward concept behind our World Mixology that we kicked off last year. We did a beta test in Dallas and didn't celebrate it a whole lot. We wanted to, again, test it, tinker with it, figure out how do we take mixology and do to it what we've done with food. So we're starting to break out of that shell a little bit. That will be a fun element in the mix this year. No pun intended on mix. We're going to have a great Tyson relationship again. We'll have a Tyson tailgate zone. As you know, this will be Saturday and Sunday, and then Veterans Day. Those will be our 3 big consumer days. And we wanted to make sure that we had a tailgate zone where people could see their favorite college football games, NFL games, and also enjoy great food, great camaraderie, and great barbecue, etc. So Tyson's helping us with that. We're going to have grand tastings where we're literally going to sit down 8 people and do a 4-course curated meal from past champions. We have about 16 of those tables that we're going to be curated and offered to various sponsors and key individuals and VIP patrons. We'll have a VIP area, of course. But Taste of WFC is going to be a brand new element that we're bringing to the table that helps answer some of the consumer question of what's in it for me. If you're just a regular consumer coming out to this big event, can I taste the food? We have decided that we can take past champions representing each one of the categories and basically create enough samples for about 3,000 people that you can walk into the Taste of WFC, have a punch card where you get X amount of samples, you get X amount of cocktails, and you get to meet champions from our past. And they're the ones actually working with Chef Eric Greenspan, kind of a celebrity chef that you may have heard of, to curate a recipe in a 4-ounce sample that is born from a winning dish that they had in the past. So that's brand new to the mix. It's going to be a huge operational puzzle. I almost said nightmare. Hopefully it won't be a nightmare.
Opportunity, I believe, is the word you want.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, there we go. So a huge opportunity for us to tinker with a new puzzle, but make consumers welcome. And then last but not least, actually I'll say 2 things. One is outside, in addition to the tailgate zone, we're going to have a live fire experience curated and fired up and energized by Al Fragoni for 3 days. So we are really excited about this. We have a live fire competition, as you well know. We have a firewoman competition, as you well know. But those happen kind of quickly, and they're just portions of a day. Well, we've contracted with Al and his team. He's bringing in a whole crew to make sure that people in Indianapolis know how to tailgate well and how to work with live fire well. And he'll be cooking up just every kind of barbecue protein you can imagine, and mic'd up and entertaining people, and hopefully he'll have some good weather to do it in. But if not, it's still going to be the place to be when you're outside at WFC. Last thing, we have deconstructed our kitchen arena. It's going to be amazing. We've got more screens, we've got more visibility, we've got more stands, we've got more stages, and we have an open judging room. They'll be blocked off from the contestants, but we're opening up 3 walls of the judging room so that people can see what happens.
Wow.
One of the things that we've heard forever, not only with WFC but other contests, right? What's happening in the judges' room? How does it work? And is it fair? And is the process sane? Is it something that you can be proud of and depend on? Well, we've just decided, since we have enough space in this new pavilion that we're working with, this is the Indiana Farm Bureau Fall Creek Pavilion. It's an $80 million facility, brand new, beautiful. We've got enough space that we decided to put the things that we love the best about food sport front and center. Number one, you can see all the cooks cooking in the kitchen arena. 40 complete kitchenettes, ready to go, ready for every category. Wow. The red carpet is going to run the center of the arena. So you'll see from two sides, contestants coming in, getting on the red carpet and walking about 100 yards to get to the judges area, which they'll have a big wall in front of them. They can't see the judges. Judges can't see them. But if you're on the other side of that wall and you're a consumer or a contestant who's already turned in, you want to see how it works, you're going to see the inner workings of our judging process being conducted during the event for every category. So it's going to be a game changer. I think people in the barbecue industry and certainly just in competition food industry in general are going to look at this and say, wow, that's new, that's shiny, and they just took it up to another level. So that's what we're aiming for.
You're not worried about showing too much sausage making?
I think it's important for people to see how well organized and how serious judges take it. You're not going to be able to hear every comment. We're going to have enough buffer room left or right from the judges and where consumers will stand that hopefully our judges are not distracted. But certainly as a consumer outside looking in, you're basically going to see this, looking at these dishes, picking them apart, scoring them quietly, and then afterwards discussing it with the table. You're also going to see for the first time our strategic relationship with ACF on display. Every single table at our event is going to have not only a table captain, but an ACF master judge at that table to help all of our certified EAT judges understand the complexities of a particular dish. There's a lot of stuff that's happening that these competitors are doing that as a blind or sequestered judge, you don't fully appreciate. And we believe it's time to bring forward some of the technique knowledge, some of the processes that cooks go through. Let's imagine we don't allow sous vides in the arena, for example, but sometimes these cooks come up with a way to sous vide. They'll create their own sous vide machine. And it's pretty amazing to see it done. And that kind of knowledge needs to be certified by someone who understood what was happening in Kitchen Arena when they're saying you're about to have the best sous vide maple leaf duck you've ever tasted. Well, if you're a judge and knows anything about the competition rules, there's no sous vide allowed. So is that accurate or is that not accurate? So having ACF judges at the table captain positions will be another beautiful element, we think, and new component that will turn a lot of heads about the WFC process.
This is Mike McLeod breaking it all down for us. November 8th through the 12th in Indianapolis, Indiana is this version's World Food Championships. What year is this now, Mike, for WFC? 11th?
This will be our 12th main event.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Be all the way back when?
Yeah, it would have been 13 if it weren't for COVID. We missed 2020. But yeah, our first one was in 2012.
I'm excited. Really excited to see what Indianapolis brings to the whole event because I'm a huge champion of that city, and obviously you feel the same way moving it up there. So we'll see what shakes out here over the next couple months. If anything else comes up in the meantime that you want to get out or you want to jump back on and give us some scoop or late breaking info, feel free to reach out. And otherwise, we wish you success as you gear up for the big event.
Greg, I really appreciate it. Always enjoy talking to you.
Thanks, Mike. There he is. Mike McLeod, World Food Championships. And again, it's November 8th through the 12th in Indianapolis, Indiana. If you are around or you want to see how it goes down or you want to make a trip out there, do it. I would never sit here and tell you that Indianapolis is the easiest to fly into, but get over it. All right, we're going to wrap the show when we come back, but let me ask you this. Are you ready to score that perfect 180 on chicken, ribs, pork, or brisket? You know it. Big Papa Smokers has you covered for the best rubs, sauces, and injections in the biz. For a limited time, use promo code BBQ Central and get 10% off Big Papa's Smoker products. That's right, 10%. Right off the secret ingredients that championship teams swear by and win with weekend in and weekend out. Don't miss out on the incredible offer. Whether you're aiming for the next GC, your barbecue contest, or you're just looking to take your barbecue and grilling food to the next level of awesome. Remember, your food just got better. You're using Big Papa. Offer valid now through October 31st. So you got about 6 weeks left. You visit BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. And then use promo code BBQ Central at checkout and get 10% off all Big Papa Smokers products. Once again, that's promo code BBQ Central. We're back to wrap it right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Mike McLeod for joining us last segment and giving us that extended time as we broke down the Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series that wrapped up a couple weeks ago, and then the look ahead to World Food Championships. A lot of great new things happening. A lot of elevated processes. The ACF thing is a big game changer. Opening up the judging booth is a huge game changer, so we'll see how that plays out. As I said, in about a month's time from now, we'll already be 2 days into it, so we'll see how that all works out over the next handful of weeks. This portion of the show being brought to you by Aladino Cigars, a family-run brand, a vertically integrated manufacturer known for its authentic Corojo tobacco, grown at the JRE Tobacco Farms in Honduras, with popular offerings like the Corojo Classic and my favorite, the Corojo Reserva, to their brand new offerings that include Cameroon Reserva and Fumanoche. You're sure to find a cigar that excites your palate. You can visit a retailer near you by visiting jretobacco.com. Scanning the email, scanning the chats, and it looks like we're all set. All the way back in the first hour, Meathead talked pastrami. Robert Moss talked about his brand new book, Raffignac, that is officially launched today. So look for that, Raffignac. A cocktail you've probably never heard of. Although my dad said in the instant chat, I believe I had my first Raffignac at the Commander's Palace in New Orleans. And I can say it must not have made that much of an impression because it's still beefier martinis for Bill Rempe. Ice cold, of course. Second hour, Mike McLeod, World Food Championships, worldfoodchampionships.com. And again, the 2024 version of World Food Championships, Indianapolis, Indiana, November 8th through the 12th. Big show planned for you next week. Wes Wright from Outdoor Cooking Channel, from cookoutnews.com will be joining us. Is that open? Yes. Huh. I'm in the wrong month. There we go. Now we're on track. Steve McMillan from Hartville Hardware and Grill Fest will be joining us. Then Wes Wright. Then Mike Lang, who will also be there 4 days later at Hartville. And then Daniel Vaughn. Maybe? All shall be revealed in the next week. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. because that's tomorrow. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe, saying, "Come on! Come on!"
Hi, this is Monroe Stoll. I'm from Stowe, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.